Hey, how are you today? This is Dawnna St. Louis, and I'm so psyched to be here. I got this really cool question that someone asked me earlier, and I thought I'd come on and share it. And someone asked me about who was the biggest influencer in my life, and it was so hard to come up with like who was that one person. And of course, we all go to, if you're religious, you might go with, well, first God, and then you go to your parents and you try to be all familial and talk about the people in your life that really matter and like are like crazy influential to you. But I really started thinking about this. I really was like who was that one type of person that was there at that fork in the road that kind of forced me to take one side of the fork versus the other. So I thought that I would share that with you because it's really quite surprising who that is. So you may have heard this before, but if not, I'll just share it with you. So back when I was about a year out of high school, I hadn't done anything for that first year. I mean, like I was literally just screwing around and not doing anything. Like that first year out of high school, I did jack crap. And so here it is, first year out of high school, I haven't done shit. And my guidance counselor said, want you to come back and just come and check in with us and tell us how you're doing. And he did this not with everyone. He had like a list of people. He said he invited back everyone, but he said very few people actually came back. And I had graduated pretty high in school. So I had done really well in school. And what's up, Dawnna? And so there was really, right after high school, I should have been one of those kids that went to college, got their accounting degree because I wanted to be an accountant, went into accounting, maybe someday start her own accounting firm, retire after 30 years, voila, right? It was all kind of laid out for me. And here it was 1 year, 12 months after high school, and I had done nothing. So I walked into this guidance counselor's office, and he looked at me. He said, so I saw you pull up in this piece of crap car, and I really want to know, for the past year, what have you done? What have you really done in the past year? Because we put a lot of work into you. And he was talking about him and the school staff and support staff. They had put a lot of work into their students because we lived in a very poor inner city neighborhood. Not a lot of people graduated from high school, right? And so they really were like, so we poured our time into you. We'd like to see our return on investment after a year. So what have you done? And I had a fantastic answer. I mean, it was really well thought out. Here it is. I'm 19 years old. And I sat there and I pondered for a moment. And I looked at him and I was like, nothing. Right? That was really nothing. I've been chilling for about a year, living off mom, hanging out, kicking the feet up, playing video games, Yeah. I don't think he liked that answer, but he was prepared for it. He pulled out of his drawer all these papers, and you got to realize this is not when Google was around, right? So he pulls out all these papers, and there are these stats, and they're stats about me, or at least a girl who's like me. Inner city girl, sexually active, didn't go to college after having a 3.9 GPA and all the opportunity available. What does her life look like? And he basically said, so this is what's going to happen to you. Let me just let you know what statistics say is going to happen to you in your life, just in case you're wondering. And so I was like, not really wondering, but go for it. And he's like, yeah, so statistically, you're going to have 5 children. 3 of those children are going to go to jail. Well, 1 is going to be dead. 1 is going to follow in your footsteps, and 3 are going to go to in jail. And just in case you're wondering what the one who follows in your footsteps look like, well, let me let you know. They're going to be on drugs. Yeah, they're going to be a drug addict just like you. I'm like, just like me? I haven't even taken a freaking drink in my life, and now I'm hitting the juice? What the hell, right? How am I going from someone who doesn't drink to now I am a drug addict, right? So I was going to be a drug addict. Okay, so I was like, really? I'm going to have 5 baby daddies. And actually what I thought was funny is that he actually told me I'd have 6 baby daddies, but there would be a question on one of them, even though I only had 5 kids. Okay. So now I'm also very promiscuous. So I'm promiscuous. I'm a drug addict. I have a kid in jail. I will have been arrested several times. And what really got me, of all the things that he said that really kind of pissed me off, was he said, I would never see Mickey Mouse. Okay, now this might sound like, really, Dawnna, the drug thing didn't get you, or the fact that, like you got 6 baby daddies for your 5 kids, that didn't get you, or maybe, that your kids are going to die and you're going to go to jail. None of that bothered you, Drew. The fact that you weren't going to see Mickey Mouse was like the big thing. The reason the Mickey Mouse thing was a big freaking thing was because my high school class, I live in South Florida, right? So Fort Lauderdale to Orlando is about 2.5, 3 hours. And for our senior trip, like the senior class goes to Orlando. And I couldn't go. I couldn't go because we didn't have the money, right? So I was like, all these kids, and he goes, and he pointed out, he goes, oh, and by the way, you didn't even see Mickey Mouse. Oh, Dawnna, wait till we get to the end. I will tell you what happened with the conversation with this guidance counselor, because I did go back to him. So that year, all the kids had gone seeing Mickey Mouse and I didn't. And by the way, even when I was really, really little, I remember that kids were like 7, 8, 9 years old and their parents were taking them to see Mickey Mouse, but that was something we could not afford. We couldn't afford Mickey Mouse. In other words, when we were living in the broke-ass, ghetto-ass neighborhood, the kids who were broke-ass could go see Mickey Mouse and I couldn't. That's how broke-ass we were, right? So, broke-ass. So here it is. So when he said that, I was like, excuse me? He's like, you'll never see Mickey Mouse. In fact, you probably won't get out of the Miami-Dade County to Broward County to Palm Beach County area. You will never leave this Tri-County area. I mean, we are talking about 90 miles end to end. Is this guy fucking kidding me? And he goes, listen, but here's the real problem. The problem is that you're going to eat in my taxes. That's where we have a problem. So I got 3 options for you. So he reaches in his drawer and he pulls out this business card. And this business card was to a military recruiter. He said, listen, you killed it on your ASVABs. Go. And ASVABs, for those of you who are watching me from overseas, because I do have a lot of overseas people in the United States, we have to take this test to tell us if we want to go in the military, where we place best in the military. And if you score high enough, you can go anywhere. Well, I had scored really, really high, which I thought was funny because I scored super high in field artillery. Yep. Sister from the hood could shoot. So anyway, one of the things was I scored really high on my ASVABs. You can go any branch of the military. You can go anywhere in the world. You can get out of Florida and you can go anywhere in the world. You can prove me wrong. You can go see Disney. You can go see Mickey. Like, seriously, you could do that. I have a problem with authority, so I didn't necessarily know that was the right thing for me. So then the second thing was, he said, I saw you pulled up in like a real piece of crap car. So you can take this $50, this $25, and you can go put gas in your tank. And you can drive on I-95 and you can head north and you can get the hell out of Florida, because at least then you won't be eating in on my taxes. And if that doesn't work, if neither one of those 2 options are right for you, there's one more option that will definitely work. And then he pulls out this bottle of codeine pills, right? And he says, here's the thing. You can't just take one. You have to take all of them. For your height, for your weight, the whole bottle will definitely do the job and kill you. But at the end of the day, your funeral will still cost less than you eating away at my taxes. So that was the options I was given. Go to the military, get the hell out of Florida, or die. That was given to me by a guidance counselor. I was so pissed at this guy that I got up and I walked out. So here it is. I'm walking down the hall and there's this chick walking towards me. And she has a baby in the belly. She has another in the arm. And you know how so if you have a dog and you've come home and your dog has done something wrong, and you look at your dog and your dog kind of like looks away like, I don't know who the hell went in the garbage can while you were out. I think somebody broke in. She had that look, like she was looking at the wall so I wouldn't see her. And I still to this day can't tell you who that girl was, but I know who I thought it was. I thought it was me. So I went back to his office. I got $25. I got on, put that money in my car. I got 95 north. I was getting the hell out of South Florida, and my car ended up breaking down on the road, and that's how I ended up homeless, right? So the guy who actually said those things to me is the guy who had the biggest influence on my life. And I know a lot of people right now are probably sitting there going, I know you went back and told that mofo something, something. Like you went and you took all that little classy, savage black girl magic back and you let him know, no, look at me now, because I'm killing it, right? And you would be so right, because I did. I did go back and see him. I did go back and I'm like, no, you got to know. I killed it. And one of the greatest lessons that I ever learned, I learned in that moment. He said, there are several types of people that I deal with, and there are two types that succeed. He goes, some people are ships and some people are kites. He goes, ships go with the flow. That's what they do. They go with the flow. He goes, but then there are some people who are kites. He goes, and they rise. He goes, but do you know that a kite doesn't rise with the wind? The kite rises against the wind. You're not a ship. You don't go with the flow. You are a kite. You rise against the wind. If I would have told you that you are absolutely amazing and fantastic and that I was so proud of you that you took a year off and really decided to find your way, that you would have still been sitting at home. But if I explained to you that I thought you were one of the dumbest smart people, and I remember him telling me, you were one of the dumbest smart people I have ever met. When he told me that, he was like, you are one of the dumbest smart people I've ever met. You're sitting your ass here like everything is all good. What are you going to do? Get by on your looks? No, stupid. You got to do something else. Like when he said that to me, I was like, oh no, he did not. I have graduated from high school. Here's the best part. I am grown. I'm grown. Couldn't take care of myself, couldn't feed myself, couldn't figure out how to put a roof over my head, but I'm grown. I thought I had made it because I had made it out of high school. And while a lot of people get so insulted at the words that he said to me, he knew that I wasn't a ship. He knew that I was a kite, and he knew that giving me some hugs and motivational words was not going to put a fire under my ass. And he reminded me, he goes, kites rise against the wind. And to rise, I had to give you something to fight against. You needed to prove me wrong. And I knew that about you. He goes, I'd motivated you for, 3.5 years? He goes, from since you were in junior high school? He goes, you didn't think I knew exactly what to say to you? He goes, I've been waiting for this day forever. And no one is more proud of you than I am at this moment. I went to his funeral. He was like an uncle to me and a very close family friend. So yeah, I did go back and see him, and he was awesome. And I still have a picture, by the way, and I wish I could find it because I know it's up in the attic, but I ain't going up in there. But it's a picture of a rock, and it's a picture, and there's a kite hanging against it, and it says, kites rise against the wind. Cut the string, don't let anything hold you back. So the biggest influencer in my life, to start off with, I would tell you would be Mr. Mott, my high school guidance counselor and science teacher, who put a fire under my ass and propelled me into homelessness. I can never thank him enough. So that is the rest of the story. Tomorrow, I'll tell you about another influencer. Oh wait, I'm traveling. Maybe not. We'll find out. Have a good one.